Hello and welcome back to the LCS, everybody. We got an exciting match here. We got some yellow lights, we got some red lights. 100 Thieves, 1 and 0. Just got another one. You get the tri-code again. Dignitas got to bounce back from a rough loss in game 1. They had a strategy all around picking on bot lane. A great play by Afmu. Got them first blood in that lane, but top difference was the name of the game as Someday just rammed that game through in the end.
Yep, he played pretty incredible, and I'm going to be interested to see, as a result, do they change things up? Do they draft more for the late game, more for just straight up 5v5 power, where I think they really do excel, and where I think 100 Thieves is going to take us?
Yeah, of course. Now, before we do jump into Champ Select, we wanted to remind you all the LCS is partnered with the Blood Centers of America in the fight against COVID-19. If you got COVID antibodies and are willing to donate some plasma, you can snag a free KDA Kai'Sa All-Out skin. Check out the website there on the screen to learn more. You win a skin, we get to further our battle against COVID-19 and that much closer to a LAN, which would be great. It's a win-win to pretty much everyone concerned except for maybe LCS teams in those matches. Now, speaking of wins though, 100 Thieves, yes, on the 1-0 start. I am curious what the difference is going to be. We saw that Dignitas chose to stay on red side. 100 Thieves got choice of game 1. Dignitas choose that, no, we still want to play the counter pick angle. And I'm curious how the draft changes now.
Yeah, we'll have to find out where they want to focus. We were talking a little bit before it came back to us. Should you be giving Ryoma the Orianna, which is extreme comfort pick for him? Of course, their entire draft was really designed to attack and shut down the bottom lane of 100 Thieves. They got a lead, but not a big enough one for it to really matter. And as the game slowed down, it went more and more in the favor of 100 Thieves. But TK ban right away again. I'm already wondering, are they just going to run back the Thresh? Because that feels like what you're trying to do here is deny this NNTK. Tahm Kench is one of the most consistent answers that who he will bring out into the Thresh. So feels like Afro already may be going back to the same pick he had last time.
Bans look the same.
Ooh,
so far. I'm going to pull up the old draft. There we go. Okay. And that means Nidalee is left up, which doesn't seem that highly prized. Exact same 3 bans, exact same order for Dignitas. And that meant Hecarim was first picked into the Thresh Callista, which of course now you can't duo together. You could steal the Kai'Sa, not that Neo's bad at it in any way. See what happens.
Yeah, if you're going to go for the Thresh, I don't think you want to go towards the Kai'Sa. It doesn't really feel like a super dominant lane there. So, if they're going for that angle, that probably means that they would be giving up the Kai'Sa. Of course, Kai'Sa Rel is up. Like, you could just go Kai'Sa Rel and say, forget Thresh, who cares? It doesn't really matter. But
Afro,
it is going to be a Thresh again.
Afro only has 1 Rel game all year long. Don't know if it's just something he's not comfortable on or if the draft never showed up for it, but it's not one that he's shown a lot of propensity to play. Similar to the Senate Tahm Kench, by the way, only 1 pick for this squad as well. So a couple of the meta lanes they're kind of not willing to go for, or maybe not able to go for. I'm not sure. Either way, yeah. Thresh Udyr going to be the grab. Udyr just maybe a half a peg right below the Hecarim. It should be reasonable. Of course, the Kai'Sa goes over, so it's the exact same 3 first picks, I believe, on the 100 Thieves side, so nothing had to change for them at all.
And GP again, so they are just saying, hey, it's not the matchup, it was poor execution. The Udyr is going to be a much faster farmer than the Volibear. I do think that the dueling power is comparable as well. Udyr is just really, really strong pick in general, a lot tankier than the Volley. The engage is less explosive. The dives are I would say, worse when you take the Volibear ultimate into consideration. But seeing as the Volibear didn't really work out that well last time, they are going to change that up. It's looking like the bans are even very similar in the second round here for Dignitas. Last time they banned Set, so we'll see if they repeat that as well. And this would be a same 5-for-5 bans for Dig if they actually do ban out Set here and don't change up anything, which feels surprising, right? Because Rel is up as well. They could, of course, ban that out. They could, of course, target someone else, but it's literally 5-for-5, exact same bans as game 1. It's not a full salty run back yet because the Callista was banned out, and 100 Thieves are going to try to target more of those bot laners to try to hold them down here a little bit, as well as take away the TF.
Yeah, and Rel is actually who he's most played, and ultimately
just giving them their bot lane.
To be fair, there were some Rel nerfs in a few patches ago, which lowered her base armor and increased the W cooldown. If that's enough to be like, yeah, actually, no longer S tier, we think the other matchups are all better, or if it's possible that just Thresh is good into Rel, I don't know my support matchups that well. If he's like, well, I just picked Thresh and I win, so it doesn't really matter, then okay, fair enough. Twisted Fate ban goes through the 100 Thieves side, so we'll probably see the Orianna again and again and again for Ryoma. His most played, his most successful champion, no problems there. Xayah, very safe against things like Hecarim and Orianna dive. Good late game team fighting as well. And maybe the Rel comes through in the end.
Yeah, and then the last question is going to be, if Orianna gets locked in, do we just have a run back on the Ahri? Because Dignitas clearly are not trying to really change things up, that much. They changed out the jungle, but they went same support, same top lane in that matchup. The Kalista was banned out, so they couldn't go there. Ori will be grabbed. 100 Thieves, I mean, this comp is just so insane in 5v5. Like, I don't even care what you pick on Dignitas' side. I'm now favoring the 5v5 on 100 Thieves. Doesn't matter what your last pick is. It's going to be Ahri. So seems like a kind of a similar strategy towards what they did last time. We'll see if they are going to be able to execute better. Ryoma was more valuable on the Orianna in team fights last time. Somebody was more valuable on the Gnar. Of course, there was some early jungle interference with Closer up there on the top side, and maybe Dardoch feels he can make the difference being on the Udyr here. Faster, clearer, potentially can influence some of the lanes better as a result of that. The Xayah, of course, will punch through frontline better than that Kalista. When you do hit 2-3 items, you can really start to shred through those frontliners pretty effectively. But that being said, the Wombo combo, the 5v5 that 100 Thieves have it's almost impossible to mess up. I mean, they were winning last game with Ryoma missing most of his shockwaves, and now that you have Rel added in, the Rel plus Orianna combination is one of the most powerful mid-support duo engages in the entire game. The follow-up on top of that with Kai'Sa flying in, with Hecarim ult for fear. Like, this 5v5 feels almost impossible to beat unless you've killed someone off before the fight starts or 5-10k ahead. Like, you got to be so far ahead.
Yeah, or you're really, really relying on excellent play out of Neo. If the engage goes onto him, and we've got the Shockwave Rel crashing down, and he's like, feathers fly! And it's like, all right, everyone missed, cool, let's go, right? And that's like your one avenue of making it work. After all, you grab the lantern, everything's beautiful. There's room for like sick mechanical outplay, but in general, Azael, I agree with you. Hardcore 5v5 is what this 100 Thieves comp can do. It was normally the Dignitas strength. They are once again in the weaker 5-on-5 composition, hoping that it's going to work out anyway. 7 of the champions are the exact same. On the 100 Thieves side, they went Rel instead of Alistair. On Dignitas, the Udyr ban was left up, so they got to grab it. And because Kalista was gone, they grabbed Xayah instead. Otherwise, every champ they could run back, they basically did on both sides. And we'll see if there's going to be a different result in this game.
I'm going to be interested also, is it Everfrost this time on the Ahri, or is the read no? Liandry's is actually the better build. CDR, Liandry's, poke away at front line, get lots of damage out in the team fights. If that is the goal, perhaps we will see him go for it once more. But in that case, I start to kind of question, why not just Azir or Cassio or something like that? If the goal is to just hit frontline and, kind of disrupt a little bit, I feel that there are other champions that are better suited to do that. Ahri's unique strength is more the ability to get into the backline, which I think is incredibly difficult against this sort of a team composition. So we will see how this goes. It could, of course, be also just more about the straight-up 1v1 if Soligo feels that he has the advantage there. And we'll see if Dignitas can really kind of prove that it was down to execution in Game 1 as they run back Game 2 with a very, very similar draft.
Well, so far so good. Ryoma winning the early trades against Soligo, has landed every Q so far, and has not given Electrocute back. Finally, for the first time, misses a command attack, and Soligo gets his taste of blood. So they're going to be fine. Both chugging through potions now. Actually, Ryoma has not. There we go. It's the potion, finally. Ultimately, mid lane, not terribly exciting. Udyr starting bottom side. Hecarim, the same. Looks like the exact same path for Closer. A different path for Dardoch. I believe he started top side last time. In fact, I know he did. So, new look for the Udyr. We'll see what that means for Scuttle pickups and various farm advantages. As level 2 looks like it's going to be first for someday. Bot lane a lot closer there as well. You don't have the obvious, level 1, level 2 freebie since you're not Kalista. Good flay back, and you can see the timing there is able to interrupt Crashdown. That's what Afrim was waiting holding that champion for.
Yep, really nicely done there with the flay. Of course, I think the Scuttle contest will look pretty different because last time we saw with that Kalista plus the Thresh, they had so much pressure on the bottom side that they were able to secure the bottom Scuttle for Dardoch. So he went to top Scuttle. They had pressure up on mid. They were able to grab that. Bot lane secured him the bot one. So I think it will look a little bit different this time around, but we'll see if they are able to reestablish themselves here on that bottom side and help Dardoch go for double Scuttle once again, because the Udyr will definitely outduel the Hecarim in that 1v1. But of course, if you lose control in your lanes, you can't really take any odd number fights.
All right, so typical 6 camp clear for the Udyr. Gets rid of the ward that Fake God surely told him where it was as Someday went with Fog of War. And this means, yeah, as Closer finishes off his Gromp, Dardoch is getting the first scuttle, and so indeed will be up the first bit of camps. Slowly go kind of cheats top set as well. Make sure there's no shenanigans, no funny business. Dardoch gotta make sure he knows which camps are done that he expected. Oh, actually, yeah, gonna look, say, yeah, okay, he took Gromp. I'm gonna make sure these camps are gone. Doesn't go for the Scryer's Bloom because he knows the camps are gone anyway, but Closer is going to get bottom scuttle.
Looks like he's actually staying. So the fact that he's staying means they're going for a dive.
Ooh.
They are going to try to commit to this. I wonder if Saligo TPs. He is but he's moving up towards the side. He's going to recall. I think they're going to TP in the Ahri and go for a 3-man dive.
Okay, can they get it? And they're not going for the damage just yet. Someday's so close. They're going to go for the stun. The TPs are coming in. There we go. Aggro pulled. There's the charm. There's the kill. And they drop aggro beautifully. Dignitas find themselves a kill top side. First blood.
Nicely done. They're able to pull it off. You know, I was clearly wrong about them waiting too long there, but I felt like with Someday going into Mega, the additional HP plus the TP coming through from Ryoma might have been enough. Either way, they waited out. Very calm, cool, collected. They're able to land the bear stun into the charm. CC does come through. They kill off Someday, and the gold goes to Fake God. So already on the top side, a much better start here for Dig. So very well done. You know, this was my concern, getting into Mega, but I believe Dardoch actually flashed the wallop, flashed the stun coming through. Yes, flashes behind the charm into the bear stun, so really well played mechanically there by Dardoch, knowing if he got stunned up under the tower, likely would have been a kill donated over to Someday, as he did have aggro there. So Dignitas, good start here up on that top side.
So TP for TP, a flash burn from Dardoch. That is a price you're willing to pay if it means you get a kill. Ultimately going to look pretty good off of the 400 gold in Fake God's inventory, but look at the game. It's only 300 to 400 apart, and that kill is worth 600, so the lanes are overall going better for 100 Thieves. After we're going to spot who he and walk back. A farm lead a little bit for FBI, a farm lead for Someday, but Dardoch wants round 2 on a teleportless Ryoma. This could be an easy target. That's in charm range. Here we go. Does he get the flash? Is it going to happen? He's going to flash away, and he can't find the bear stun. Smited for some move speed thanks to his runes, but now Closes here as well, and Dardoch's got to be careful. He doesn't have an easy way out. Gonna find the stun, gonna find some damage. Charm's gonna land on Orianna somehow, and nearly kills off Ryoma just now, level 6. If that Ori had 12 more XP, that was gonna be a kill on Dardoch.
Oh, Shockwave sidestep, but it will help him to reset that wave at the very least. And yeah, and that's something that maybe Ryoma should have recognized and tried to kill off one minion really quick, or try to get his way to 6, try to make that happen. Either way, it is just the flash forced out there from Ryoma. Dignitas getting more done. Of course, as you said, this bottom lane is in the favor of 100 Thieves. They have additional gold here, but Fake God with the early Sheen, it can get pretty oppressive when GP gets an early kill, gets that quick Sheen, and is just queuing you on cooldown with the Sheen proc, with the grass proc. It can get beyond what you can sustain, get beyond what you can regen. And that can be problematic for the Gnar, but Closer is behind him.
Okay, good flay gonna come in again, but still the knockback on a Neo, and he can't get the Lantern because there's a ward in the way. Neo's trying to run, and it's not gonna be enough. Great play by 100 Thieves to cancel the Lantern play.
Really nicely done. They're able to cancel Lantern, as you say, and they get both the flash and the heal. They still kill them off. Of course, they commit 3 of their own summoners from their bot lane, but they were winning in farm. They're able to get the kill. No vision whatsoever in the river here for this Dignitas bot lane. The lane is frozen against them, and at that point, you pretty much just need the jungler down there to help you reset, but it is the opposing team's jungler that comes first. The Lantern gets warded, can't take that. No way out from Neo, tries the desperation of dropping the sums to get back, but their bot lane is in trouble. I mean, that kill went to FBI. His buy is going to be vastly stronger than what Neo was able to pick up.
Yes, indeed. Closer, safe to grab his red buff now. No dragon picked up just yet, but as I say it, Dardoch walks right over the vision and goes, we have bot pressure. What of it? You're not going to stop us there. Control's going to spot the mid lane roam. In fact, mid lane's already here. And so vision or not, there's no real contest here for the dragon. And it will be Dignitas for the second game in a row, getting the first Drake. You know, in game 1, they got 3 straight, but it cost them basically everything. We'll see if that changes now into this one as they start the dragon stacking. And we'll see how it progresses with a somewhat weaker bot lane.
Smart to be able to go for the dragon, knowing the base timing of the Kai'Sa was so late, but Kai'Sa, did have the kill, did have the additional farm, and gets a full pickaxe ahead of Neo. So much stronger right now in that 2v2 are 100 Thieves We'll see if Dardoch can get down there, if Soligo can get down there, kind of change things around, perhaps punish the fact that Huhi has no summoners, that FBI has no flash. If you can get a kill back, you know, recover some of that farm, recover some of that lost gold, so they can still turn things around down here. But for now, it's looking really good for 100 Thieves.
It is. All right. They're going to keep scaling up. Good to have the money on Kai'Sa. Top lane still really not bad, considering Someday took a death, took a dive. He's still equal in farm, but Dardoch's going to blast clean over the wall. Someday being Mega Gnar that makes this tough, and Closer going to ult in nearby. Shockwave not pulled just yet. Finally, suckers in. Dardoch finds himself a stun, but the clock tower lands, and Someday grabs double buffs.
Nicely done, finding Dardoch there on what looked like he was trying to do a wraparound play, I think, up towards that top side, but Closer just happened to be there. Ryoma is coming up, and Dardoch looking frustrated in the player cams with how that shook out. Giving over another kill. It also means that it's going to be a free Herald for 100 Thieves. The kill also going to Someday, evening out the gold on that top side, which was really their only lead at this point in the game.
Beautiful stuff. 100 Thieves really, I mean, they're turning the corner much faster than they did over in game one, so already looking pretty good. And as we know, the 5-on-5 team fight is better, and that has been the way Dignitas intended to win games, is like, they'll just set up Baron, and then they'll just 5v5 you, and it'll work out because their comp's better, their players are better, or a mix of the two. And they may not have that avenue, so we'll see how deep the playbook goes. Otherwise, 100 Thieves, honestly, good on them to start getting some wins with this roster. It looked pretty shaky, but Someday can just kind of take over the game just like he did last time on this Gnar.
We'll see if he's going to be able to pull that off. Soligo, early CDR boots. We, of course, don't know what his mythic item of choice is going to be just yet, as he just has a couple of Amtomes in there, so we'll have to wait and find out if it's going to be likely injuries.
Even if he's going like Night Harvester or something, it would still build in all of them. So we'll see which way he's going to go. Maybe Riftmaker doesn't have 2 Amtomes? I forget. I know Leeching Leer I think is only 1, so maybe the one exception. He's not going Leeching Leer, as I don't think anyone is shocked by this one. No Riftmaker.
That's also not going Shield Bow, so you know.
He's yeah, I don't think we're seeing Eclipse. You know, Gale Force with a forced dash.
Prowler's Claw, maybe.
Prowler's Claw, right? That's another good dash, though. Yeah, I mean,
Prowler's Claw on the head, charm him. It's looking nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Maybe Collector's second, and you're just playing lethality. All right, here we go. Dardoch doing battle is a level up on Closer. Somewhat expected being the Udyr, who he nearby, though. And yeah, just gonna kind of run back. Ooh, charm into half a Q. You get the good part of it. You get the true damage version. Dragon is still in 2 minutes, so there's no immediate need to push for the river, but if you can take over ward control, you take it. And that's the flash. Nice to get away by Ryoma, but now Dardoch could be the target, has his own flash. There's the hook, there's a lantern and ult to safety. Re-engage gonna find that first one into fleeting, and there is the kill. Ryoma claims it. Great re-engage by 100 Thieves.
Yeah, they find the re-engage, full lockdown on Soligo, never could flash out. The R flash coming through from Huhi. He has the attract repel stun. There's the fear from Closer over the top. Really nice CC layering to take down Soligo there. Another win for 100 Thieves, and now Neo is just zoned off of all of this, right? They lost that mid lane fight. Afro had to go on a reset timing. He has no mid laner. His jungler's up on the top side, so he does a smart thing and backs it up. But 2 plates are going to fall down here, and Rift Herald is in their pocket, so if they want, they could actually just take a full tower. And Dignitas really bleeding in this game.
Yep, double root. There we go. First turret going to happen yet again. Both games now. And 100 Thieves have managed to get that on different lanes, right? In game one, it was a bunch of gold over to Someday, shared with Closer. This time around, it's just cash money in the pockets of FBI. A very, very rich Kai'Sa is exactly where you want your money. It's someone else's turn to carry this game over the line. And 100 Thieves are rapidly accelerating towards that.
They're looking really good. And when you take in consideration the fact that, you know, we're almost at 13 minutes before the next dragon spawns, I don't even know if Dignitas are going to be in a position where they're able to win a 5v5 around dragon. It feels like 100 Thieves have better scaling. It feels like they have better team fight towards later stages of the game, and they've already established themselves a 2,000 gold lead here, 12 minutes in. Dignitas really going to have to try to find some big plays. I mean, just compare the itemization on the marksman here. It's, you know, full Kraken Slayer completed plus the tier 2 boots to just the Noon Quiver. You're so much weaker right now unless you can find some sort of an immediate kill with charm or a hook or something. But I don't know. Dignitas look like they want to try to posture for it. It feels like that is their win condition, is stacking towards Soul. But if you just die at this 5v5, the game could be out of reach.
Ulti's almost up. There we go. Hecarim ult just came back from cooldown. That was the one thing 100 Thieves needed to wait for. Everything else they've got that they need. And immediately, look at this. They have taken the entire river. Ahri's back in mid to shove down a wave. Your consolation prize is maybe a turret plate at cost of, well, the dragon stacking is over before it really started. Good of them to pick up one early on Dignitas to make sure the dragon stack's not too fast on 100 Thieves' side. But every lane, except for maybe mid, belongs to the blue team right now. And 100 Thieves pushing their way towards a likely, well, likely in that it's like, 55 to 45, a likely victory here in this game.
At least a very good position going into the mid game.
Yeah.
I can say that much for sure. You would take their comp, I think, in this position 10 times out of 10, of course. But
Sure.
Dignitas still have the opportunity to try to make things happen. It is going to be a different build here from Fake God. So Divine Sunder as the choice here. It's not going to be towards the Essence Reaver as well as the Shield Bow. So this is potentially a higher burst style of build. We'll see if he can be more effective as a result. Maybe feeling that the build was somewhat of an issue in that side lane.
Yeah, it's certainly tankier. If he's like getting just picked on, he's like, well, I can at least, get my Q trades and survive a bit longer in the 1v1. But yeah, certainly less, I
just feel like the lifesteal helps a lot actually.
Oh, sure.
Those 1v1s, so I don't even know if it's like tankier for the 1v1 really. And then burst situations, the shield bow proc is very powerful. Of course, you do have additional
True.
health, so there is value there, but I'm not sure exactly why he's moving more towards this, other than I think at the very least it's clearly more bursty, right? The attack speed isn't really helping you that much usually in a 5v5 where you're not able to get a lot of auto attacks out, and as a result, maybe you can get some impactful barrels.
For sure. And at least you get lifesteal off of the Spellblade just because of how Divine Sunder works in and of itself. So if you're only getting Qs, it's maybe close. Otherwise, look at this. Someday you're running them down. Equal level. Farm's pretty close. Not even under the Mythic. Doesn't matter. Fake God not able to fight for this one. Wave goes down. Dradok runs away. Closer still down about 3 camps to farm, but who cares? He's been the more important champion this game. The Rift Herald summons, the ganks, they've all been good. And here we go. Second Rift Herald. Why not? Not a problem here for 100 Thieves. Going to knock this one down pretty rapidly. And at some point, we'll see Dignitas try to get back on the map to try to make some plays, but right now it is all 100 Thieves.
And they kind of know they're just not really in a position to fight right now, but the problem is when you play a comp that gets outscaled and you can't fight early, it's rough.
It is, but they're going to find a charm. Big damage, and someday we'll finally get picked off. A kill on the board after a long wait for Dignitas, but there's nothing else to grab. The Herald's already gone. It's just 450 gold.
Very least, they do get something for their troubles there. The GP ulti dropped in, they land the charm, they have the CC layering, able to burst down someday. And Neo will have to be a little bit careful, but Afro is moving up towards this top side of the map. There's 300 Thieves members around here. Closer has been spending a lot of time, it feels like, with Huhi this game, and rightfully so. That cavalry combo, Rel, Hecarim, so damn strong for the engage. Send in the Hecarim, follow it up with that stun from the Rel on the tether. It is really, really difficult for people to deal with. Okay, so Everfrost is going to be the option here. So Soligo is mixing up. It won't be the Leandries as we saw last time. And yeah, it's actually double Everfrost here. Ryoma going for it, Soligo going for it. We can see Kraken Slayer now completed for Neo, so clearly he will have a lot more frontline damage. I think they're hoping that potentially his higher DPS as well as the DPS coming through from the GP can make the difference in those 5v5s, and we'll have to see if that is the case. Of course, they can win 5v5s. I just think that it's a lot less reliable to be able to have a big impact in a fight as the Ahri compared to the Orianna, who has so much setup.
Absolutely, yeah. If you're just doing a standard, let's go hit people together in a team fight, yeah, I take Orianna every single time. I like the Everfrost build on Ryoma's side. Udyr can only walk, outside of flashing, basically. So if you land anything, the Everfrost is guaranteed. If you just even have Everfrost, you have to, start, serpentining around, trying to make sure he's not getting hit as he tries to catch up to you, because he's just rooted in plates otherwise. So that'll be an interesting thing to watch for. Solo turret gold going to FBI, going to deny a bit of farm on the way over as he lets the turret knock down his wave. And there we go, 500 gold picked up. Bot lane gonna drop soon here, but Dignitas still yet to find their first turret kill yet.
It feels like Dignitas just kind of went back into their shell once they fell a little bit behind early. They really haven't been looking for any sort of plays, right? And they're kind of just waiting around, hoping they can find some sort of a pick, but this is giving 100 Thieves time to farm, time to scale up. The gold is very close. We'll see if Dignitas wants to fight at this next Infernal Dragon here. It will be an Infernal Soul, and they do have Mythics completed across the board, so potentially a good time here for them to fight before someone like FBI completes a second item and gets even further
out. He's waiting the combined Phantom Dancer. Nice charm's gonna land on the front line. Pretty good damage. FBI forced to flash away. Drawdock very, very low. Close gonna ulti back in, so they go dodge it, but Someday is on the chase. And he finds the kill in the opposing mid laner. 4v5 is not a fight Dignitas want. A good escape by FBI, burning his summoners and his ult. And Someday closes down onto one. So Dignitas, you can see Drawdock running away. But now, that is a catch and a fake. God eats the oranges, trying to run away. Gets a lantern back to safety. Someday, though, still on the chase. And that's gonna be some pretty good damage. Flay's not gonna mean a kill or anything. A pretty easy dragon now picked up as he zones them away. The dragon is claimed. Well done to 100 Thieves. 4-2 in kills.
Yeah, they lose no one. And Soligo actually charmed FBI out of his ultimate, I do believe. So was a really nicely played charm, but the damage just isn't there to actually back it up. It feels like he has no kill threat whatsoever when he is just that solo member. So it was kind of coming on the flank there. Tried to find a pick, gets charm on the key member, but without the rest of your team there, it didn't really amount to anything. He doesn't have enough gold, enough damage to actually burst them through.
Almost enough to kill Herald. Pretty close though, right? Good timing on the hook, so it was CC'd and couldn't charge just yet, but 8 HP after the charge, meant a couple hundred before it, and yeah, they just didn't quite have the kill, but they did nearly deny it, so nice try. Drawdock at least gets a bit of counter jungling to get back off the blue buff he just lost to Closer a minute ago. Claims it, runs away, both level 11. Still going to mean a lot more in the Hecarim, obviously. And we get to look at the top side again. Soligo with ulti up. I mean, like, can you not just ult at FBI, and if you land Charm, it's maybe a play? I guess it's dangerous. The other team can come, but...
Yeah, they just don't know where Rel and Hecarim are, right? And Rel and Hecarim were moving up there. If they're directly behind and you go for that sort of a play, potentially the counter engage comes through. But I agree, they're going to have to take some risks at some point. You don't win this game, I think, just by playing it out slowly here. And now Someday pressuring Fake God feels like deja vu from last time.
Yeah, it's rough stuff for any Dignitas fans out there. 100 Thieves have managed to continue to be the better team as time wears on. Better team fighting, better laning, and ultimately, at the end of the day, better objective control because of those first 2 points. Mid lane under fire, going to be a very easy kill. Neo going to have to give this one up. Tries to Q a minion, not quite going to land it, but he'll get the farm all the same.
Just feels like Dignitas are kind of just bleeding out. I want to see them look for some type of play, find a moment before it's too late to really put your stamp on this game here, because the gold lead is growing and it feels like the pressure is mounting in these side lanes as Someday clearly feels comfortable, pushing up in the face of the Udyr, pushing up in the face of that gangplank, and the rest of the squad is just getting stronger and stronger. FBI now has his second completed item, well ahead of Neo.
Got spotted. That's the route. That's an easy Shockwave. Great lantern just in time. Shockwave's a little bit late, and ultimately was able to get the click in time.
Someday, though, he can chase. They know the Udyr is not here.
Bit of a slow flash ult. Oranges, can he dodge the stun is the important part. Yes, he does, but there's still a bit more slowing to come across. GP ult over the top, and damage from who? Fake God is ignited, and he will die. Re-engage not too good either. Neo forced away as Ryoma puts in the spells. Nice kill there for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, really well done. Just getting on top of him for the E-stun there from the Relic and follow it up. He's tanky enough to get in on that tower, and he is going a more aggressive build actually this time around, not rushing straight towards that Thornmail second, likely working towards Asterix here as his second item. He is winning in the side lanes. The first blood really didn't amount to anything, and despite the fact that Afro has been moving around the map and has had some great lanterns, it feels like all the good plays from Afro this game have been defensive, have just been peeling, have been trying to save his team from the onslaught. So that is 100 Thieves right now. They are running it in the side lane. They are running it in the 5v5. They are ahead in Dragons and really ahead in pretty much every conceivable way at this point in the game.
Right now, it feels like 100 Thieves are just a better version of Dignitas, the way these two teams are playing today. I'm curious if we'll see different side selection, a new champion select look, but ultimately Dignitas going for the run it back comp, and it's worse than it was in game one. That, felt like 100 Thieves learned more from game one than Dignitas did, and based on watching game one, I'm like, okay, yeah, you can run it back because it was really just 1 or 2 bad moments, and with slightly better team fighting, maybe you get there, and the 100 Thieves now just looking like the far superior group of players. Next dragon spawns in 55 seconds. Realma back here in mid, and now we get to fight for the bottom river yet again. Xayah and Thresh are top lane. They got to get back down there pretty soon. FBI going to get a pretty easy kill on bot lane tier 2. GP not going to defend it. And maybe Dignitas is going to just give away the dragon and play for a turret instead. So they are going to cross map. Honestly, based on the 4,000 gold deficit, you probably have to do something else except team fight. And maybe it's too little too late, though.
Yeah, that's kind of how it's feeling to me. And, you know, let's talk a little bit about, you know, the differences between this game and last game. You know, if I were kind of giving it grades, it's like the Udyr feels better than the Volibear last time. The Ahri, to me, has just felt worthless in both games. You know, I'm going to be honest. If you're falling into this pattern where it's just farming and waiting for 5v5s and waiting till late, when you're going for this type of build, the Ahri doesn't actually have enough damage to even threaten FBI if you ever get there, and the chances of doing it consistently are very low, right?
Yeah.
You know, I just think if this is the style of game you're going to play, you want to be playing an Orianna, a Azir, a Cassio, a Corki, something that is going to scale and have threat, because when you're playing passively like this, you really are just playing an inferior version of what your opponent is doing as the Ahri. And, you know, the other difference here is the Xayah, which, great, you know, that is, I think, more powerful in the 5v5 than what we saw from the Kalista, but they lost the early game power of the Kalista. They got very far behind in that 2v2 as a result, and they've never caught up, right? And it's not as though Kai'Sa is any sort of slouch when you're getting towards the later stages of the game. So, you know, even if Xayah is strong, you're playing from like a full item behind practically. You're never going to equal the power of FBI. You know, they basically gave full comfort to 100 Thieves. These are most of their most played champions across the board. And an incredible composition, and I just don't feel like they've gotten much in return. So just not a fan of the drafting priorities from Dignitas. You know, it's one of those things that maybe in scrims you were, you know, smashing Oriannas on the Ahri, but back-to-back games is just does look like it does nothing.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on this one. You can see the farm also, honestly, just kind of growing in 100 Thieves' favor. That was the one thing I was like, okay, Ahri's a really good side laner in late game because you can get away from everything. You have a lot of good like 1v1 matchups, like the armor stack Nari. You can like maybe jump in and kill him or set up the kill, but there's now a 50 CS deficit in mid. So Soligo hasn't even been able to find farm in the side lanes either. Ryoma, I mean, honestly, free farming, 276 CS at 25 is an outstanding clip. He got counterpicked, and it's like, yeah, it's fine. He's doing completely well in this one, and the team fighting can continue on. So 100 Thieves, what's the next play for them? And 3.5 is Infernal Soul. And right now, they're setting up Baron, which, hey, maybe they can find that sneak as well, but they own all the cards, and let's see what 100 Thieves can do to close out game 2.
And then when you're looking at a game like this, you have to think, okay, well, what are the ways Dignitas can come back? And to me, it's playmaking when you're behind. But that is really just down to a hook or a charm. We'll see if they can get it.
Stun. Good flash gets away from the hook, but now, how about the rest of the engage? Who he locks up for? Afro just gonna drop to FBI. Then how about the rest of the fight? Dardoch now running away slowly. One trades back though, so Leo gets kill credit. Closer on the chase down, but stunned up means he's killed as well. The junglers, oh, he barely dies just at the end. FBI lanes maybe red buff damage for the kill. A 2-for-2 team fight though, the same roles were traded, and the chance that Dignitas fighting back equal is maybe giving him a sign of life.
Yeah, that is in their favor. When you are losing and you can get an equal trade, that is good for you. You know, can change the gold differential slightly. So we'll see if they can continue to try to press forward here, but not the most important kills in FBI. Oh, you are dead, Soligo.
Good sidestep on the root. I'm going to be cleansed away. Flash forward. One out of the kill. He's on range. That one Q's going to play nice. W shot by FBI. He is on a rampage.
Oh, it was actually really close there. Soligo without the ulti, making FBI work for it. It is the trait of flashes. Would have been a huge shutdown if Soligo could have got it, but didn't quite have the damage there. Wasn't able to take him down, and FBI just getting even stronger. He's got the QSS, and I think he just completed another item. We can see this one more time. Was a good actual CC chain there onto Closer. They had the charm, then they had the root from the Xayah feathers. You know, they had a hook. They had a lot of CC layered over on top of Closer, but he was incredibly tanky, and they weren't able to actually burst him down until the re-engage here at very low health, where it is just that trade. But you look over at the items and look at FBI. He's an entire IE ahead because the Last Whisper and the QSS are very similar in gold, right? You know, that is essentially even. You have just a full IE on top. The itemization is so far in their favor. Ryoma even going towards a Banshee's Veil, knowing really the only way you lose is getting picked off. So I think it's smart.
Right. Stun and a hook. A lantern back out, and a Dardoch and Closer doesn't even feel the damage. Nice getaway for who he crashed down, gets out of the charm. You can see damage still stacking up. 1 minute left on the Dragon to spawn. That is Infernal Soul waiting to be grabbed by 100 Thieves. And from already a 6,000 gold advantage, 6k gold plus Dragon Soul, that's almost an FF right there. So we'll see if they can make that one happen, but it seems so incredibly likely. They've got ward control over Baron. They're going to start setting up wards. They already got 2 wards in that eastern jungle, so the path towards Dragon is going to be fraught with danger for Dignitas. Should be a pretty easy pickup for 100 Thieves.
I think pretty much if you're Dig, you just go, you flip the fight, you see if you can win it. If you can pull off some sort of a miracle there, get a big team fight win, then there's a path to victory. But if you're just going to give up the Infernal Soul, it feels like it's pretty much toast. So I would like to see them just contest at this point. I don't think it's really going to get better by just sitting back, as 100 Thieves have done such a good job controlling the opposing jungle, farming it out. That is a very reason why Ryoma has 320 CS before 29 minutes, is he's power farming not only the lanes, but the opponent's jungle camps.
All right, TV's come back in. 100 Thieves ready to fight for this one. Dragon spawns right now. Hook not going to land, but watch out for the re-engage. Soligo going to find a charm, going to try to get away. FBI is in, but he got rooted in place, and he's nearly going to be shut down as well. But some days in the back line has Meganar. Going to find only a single stun. In comes Closer for big damage, and it's going to be a kill for Afromu. Traded 1-for-1 Neo. Very, very low. Charm's not going to land just yet, but the re-engage for Huhi means a kill and a fake god almost. Flashes back to safety. Dardock stuck in the mix now. Now it's a 3-1 team fight. 100 Thieves close down the last 2 kills as cost their jungler, and that dragon is theirs.
Dignitas made it close. They tried to go for the fight. They almost took down Ryoma. They couldn't quite do it, though. Ryoma with a great shockwave onto Neo, pushing him out, and that really killed the last hopes there for Dignitas in that 5v5. They've got the Infernal Soul. They've got the enormous gold lead. The fight started out well, though. The charm gets landed. The root is layered up there. Neo has been doing a great job of that. Someday in the backline, gets turned on, gets stunned up by Dardock. Dardock even sidestepping and avoiding the Mega Gnar here. And then Neo kiting back with Afro, but with Ryoma catching them with the shockwave there, softening him up, pushing him back over the wall. Neo just couldn't stay involved to help finish off that Orianna.
Alrighty, Dragon Soul on. Gold lead growing past 6,000. They won the last team fight. 100 Thieves looking down a 2-0 almost here. Lord Down Guard's done for Neo, but that same build is almost there for FBI. Nice little root, but it's Soligo forced to ult away from Someday. The man has a force of nature, so some magic resist makes him actually pretty tanky in that matchup. And well, 4-2-2, not star of the show, but still a consistent performer here on the 100 Thieves side. It is all about the bot lane. 5-0-2 for FBI, 0-1-9 for Huhi. He has set up almost every single team fight for 100 Thieves.
He's been looking really good on the Gnar. They're playing from a position of power. He knows if he can find carries, he is good to go. The team is going to be engaging behind him. They have this really beefy 3-man front line, all with powerful forms of engage, great follow-up for each other, and a really strong back line. And Dignitas looking for a pick.
Dardock finds the stun. They don't get the Everfrost root on a Closer. A slow for Gangplank to jump forward to Charm, and it's not going to land on a Ryoma. A flash for Flash. The re-engage, though. Triple hit there for Huhi, forcing the ult back, but an immediate kill for Neo. That's going to be a nice one picked up, and it's 100 Thieves forced to run away. Problem is, I don't think Baron is easily on the table, so Dignitas get nothing more than the 450.
Yeah, they get the kill. At the very least, they do find themselves in a winning position there, but Fake God being pressured, Someday will have to back it up as the rest of Dignitas is backing off. And Fake God did use his ulti there, which does put him more at risk in the 1v1 if he loses the safety of that tower. Dignitas again going here for the play, looking to commit for it. Soligo looking for the flash charm. Ryoma equal to the task, responds with a flash of his own, and then in goes Huhi trying to get to those carries, but it was a good play from Afro, keeping him away from Soligo, and Neo was able to respond with his own ultimate and then quickly burst him down. Neo now is on 3 items. He has the LDR, a BF on top, so he's getting there. I mean, if he can get to the IE, he is going to be incredibly threatening. I do still think they will be fighting from a very, very big disadvantage, both compositionally and gold-wise, but there is maybe a world in which you can make it happen if you have that Miracle team fight on the Xayah once you get that IE in there.
Yeah, the point it kind of looks like to me, because Lord Dominix is like very overtuned in this patch, is basically both AD carries can kill the opposing frontline very, very fast. Like that's going to be true kind of regardless. FBI's benefit is he can also kill backline very fast. And that, like, because the eye is in, because he's Kai'Sa, if there was a setup on Soligo, he's there and Soligo dies. Like, Neo can't do the same thing to Ryoma because he's probably not in range of Ryoma, so there are just more options for 100 Thieves. If it's front to back, it's actually reasonably close because Xayah is so good at what she does. Good root, good kite back, good lantern, good pull. FBI forced to cleanse. That's the kind of situation where it's like, man, if those champs were reversed, maybe FBI's assassinated. Nice root. Big damage on Dardo. You can see that is a very large threat. Soligo finds a charm, finds good damage. Half HP flash for Dardoch. Ryoma could just die, but you can see Neo, right? That would be the play, right? If he was a Kaisa, that would be a kill. Ultimately, now we get to find the re-engage.
Okay.
Big damage, big crunch, big 2 for 0. Is the re-engage enough, though? Someday, gonna burn the stopwatch. Soligo gonna drop as well. FBI's on the chase. He's gonna find Neo. That's 4. I do believe, and no, I guess only 3 credited to him. Fate got forced to run away. Dignitas are gone, and 100 Thieves own everything.
Closer barely limping out of the fight with just a tiny bit of health, but it does not matter. The Baron will be theirs. Fate got arrived very late to that one. And as you say, Dignitas just cannot reach the back line. Even with Soligo finding the charm there onto Ryoma, you know, they get the Banshee's Veil off, they find the hit that they need. They don't have the damage to actually burst them down unless Neo can get there. Ari just really is not a legitimate threat, even when you land the charm at this point, because she's very, very far behind. It was just Dardoch and Soligo who had access to that Orianna. They couldn't finish off the kill, and as a result, they could not take that team fight. Now down 10,000 gold. Baron on top of the Infernal Soul. This should be the game closer for 100 Thieves.
It's got to be at this point in time. Items coming through at the very end, but you're staring down an 11,000 gold deficit. The Red Bull Baron on for 218. Blue buff handed to Ryoma. A little bit of poke towards Dardoch. And well, let's see how they want to close one out. Do they wait the minute for Elder Dragon, or do they siege the base? In the previous game, they did some pretty extensive sieging, and it worked out pretty well, leaving Dragons up for a little bit of time. FBI being given some of the farm, although he is full build. Probably hand that to Ryoma as much as you can. Kill beneficiary has managed to outweigh the farm disadvantage. 14, not exactly gigantic. Root, charm, good damage, QSS, and the jump backwards. GPO is a slow. Ryoma gonna be hooked in. They could find that kill if only they had any backup. But instead, he's got the teammates coming around. Closer showing up. FBI finds the kill. Thank you, Infernal Soul, for that W doing enough to finish off Dardoch. Trade of junglers.
Yeah, it does end up being that trade, as Afro found multiple hooks, but even when they're finding the CC, they just can't burst people down. Again, Ryoma lives. They don't have enough damage in the tank, and the TP's coming back in.
FBI's mostly out of escapes. He has flash, and that's it. The flash follow. Oh, he nearly gets it, but he gets the follow-up. Gets the rest of it with the ulti coming across. That's a 1 for 0. Second one comes across there as well. Neo cannot find FBI. Ult comes in, flashes the safety, but not for long. Someday, chase him down with the flash. That is the Bud Light ace in the base yet again. 100 Thieves going to be 2-0 in this series, and Dignitas got to find a way to dig deep to get back into this one.
Absolute domination here in game number 2 from 100 Thieves. The bot diff was enormous, 10-0 and 6 for FBI. They got ahead early, and they utilized that to perfection in these team fights down the stretch. 100 Thieves really looking comfortable in this one. And now I've got to say it, Dignitas, I don't care what the scrims looked like. I don't care what the pre-prep was. You got to throw it out the window at this point.
Yeah.
You know, the comp is not working. The high priority on the Thresh, as well as this Ari stuff, it's just not working. GP and Inar is just not working. They have got to go, I feel, for all-out 5v5 composition, draft for 5v5 supremacy, believe in your ability to outplay in that situation from an even playing field. You know, give Neo the tools to make it happen, because we have seen him do it many times before, but I just feel they're not being set up for success in the draft, and no matter what was working in practice, it's not happening on stage.
I agree. It isn't working on stage. So 2 straight wins for 100 Thieves. Australia represents something like a 15-0-15 combined for Ryoma and FBI. I mean, a great game from the two of them, to be clear. You know, 2 thumbs up for a solid performance. We'll see if the rest of it's going to go over the line, if it's going to be the 3-0 for 100 Thieves or not, or if Dig finds their comeback. But with a 2-0 start on the other side, we'll be breaking down that win at the State Farm Analyst Desk. See you soon.
It's a one-man army in this Assist of the Day presented by State Farm. With a fighted dragon breaking out, Fudge went all in, throwing himself into the ring to give Cloud9 the advantage.
Nice pickup. It's Blabber who claims the fight as they push back Sunday, and Perch flashes, but he's going to get turned around on. Rocket Jump still available, gets away with it, but into the back line goes Fudge, gets one, gets pushed back down as the feast comes through. A 1-for-1 team fight, and now Huhi being chased, gets healed, gets the shield,
Blabber's
runs
so
away
fast.
for his life. Can he be killed? Sven?
You've saved me so much on my insurance with that Russell rate. You become my muse.
Russell, State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
I feel like I captured your kind eyes.
You want the real deal? Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome back to the LCS and the midseason showdown. As you can see there, 2-0 stands the score for 100 Thieves, very much in control of this series. And while it is 100 Thieves out in the lead, Mark, it's Dignitas' draft that I want to talk about because you heard Azale say it right at the end. Throw out the prep. I don't care how the scrims went. Something's not working.
Yeah, I hated their draft as soon as I saw the final thing locked in. It's very much a portion of a run back from their first draft, but you know, 100 Thieves had a great adaptation in banning the Callista. And the fact that they still went Thresh, they still went R, they still went GP, and largely kept a lot of these parts the same just blows my mind, because without the Callista Thresh, you don't have the bot priority and pressure that you have in playmaking and it just functions totally differently. And to have such weak picks on their side, which are counter pick and kind of more comfort focused, compared to the power picks that they're giving over, is insane to me. If you look at the presence of these champions on 11.5 in the LCS, for the side of Dignitas, they're largely counter pick focused. The only high priority one you would say is Udyr with the 93% presence. And these champions can all work, but I don't like that to get these champions. They're giving over insane power to 100 Thieves. If you look at the 100 Thieves side, it's some of the most important champions across the roles in multiple positions. Like, this is like a dream comp for most teams. And so I hate that they tried to run back the same idea while changing how it actually functions and giving over huge power picks to 100 Thieves.
It seems to me that Dignitas has not looked at how playoffs have unfolded across the globe and noticed that champions like Hecarim, Orianna, now they're even getting banned in the first rotation. They're this powerful. They need to make sure that they are playing League of Legends, because right now they have to play perfectly, which they're not, and 100 Thieves barely has to press their buttons and their champions still do more. You'll see in these later replays how many times hooks, stuns, charms, lands, but nothing happens because the champions are objectively worse right now.
Yeah, I would just say it's harder way to play, right? It is for sure. But I like I've seen comps like these, and I've drafted comps like instead of the Thresh, maybe a Rakan in previous metas and patches, where it's just you're literally going to be on the objective first with good pick. In this case, the pick is Thresh, Ahri, and then you're setting up for that one chunk, right? And especially with if you're having a ability haste like type builds, like the chunks do stack up, and it's going to be harder for the team to fight into. The replays that you're referring to, Crumbs, is really Dignitas blundering that. Because my biggest issue is 18 minutes into the game, like, Ahri, after taking top bot turret, continues to push. She's disconnected from the play now. 100 Thieves are the ones that get first push on mid lane when it should be Dignitas. And it's actually Dignitas trying to play off of a charm with the Udyr when the rest of the team are completely disconnected. Ideally, this should never be the case. You should have Ahri, after bot lane turret gets taken down, rotate with Udyr, go straight through mid, and as a 4 unit, if they walk into you to get vision, it's the Rel that gets charmed, it's the Hecarim that gets chunked, and it's much easier for you to fight in that way. So it's one of those things that you could tell that this is a composition that Dignitas has really played, scrimmed with, and practiced. But like when it comes to the game day, playoff day, you lose this, you're out. It's time to execute, and it doesn't work. This is why it's harder, because if you do fall behind, enemy team plays slow, gets all the control, and you can never play that way again. And you're just praying for them to make a mistake, and that's my criticism.
Yeah, Rest, this is a lesson that always pops up in every playoffs. Ease of execution. Make it easier for you to play the game, for you to punish the mistakes that your opponent makes. Yeah, the Ahri wasn't there, but you hit a full combo and the AD carry doesn't die. What control mage does that to an AD carry right now and they don't kill them? Like, that should not happen. A Syndra hits the stun on the carry, instantly deleted. Team fight is over, but that's just not happening. So they need to make the champs way easier to play, and they're making it so easy for 100 Thieves. They're running down some of these fights, and they're still coming out ahead.
Yeah, and Crumbs, I want to give you the next replay because it re-hits that point you were making. As the game continues to scale, it just gets worse for these champions that require such top-tier execution and synchronicity to be successful.
Right, watch the Udyr and the Ahri. There you go. Charm, QW, they're flashing on. There's no damage. They're fine. They're totally fine. The Xayah cannot engage, and then they're looking for a re-engage on the bottom side. 4-on-2, doesn't matter. You fall right into the arms of the Rel. It's so easy for 100 Thieves to play this fight, despite getting hit by major CCs from this composition. So they are facing a ginormous draft advantage. I'm not focusing on the gameplay. You just gave off too much power to the side of 100 Thieves, like Mark showed earlier today.
Yeah, I think all of us were talking about how we expected Dignitas to actually be able to contest 100 Thieves in the 5v5s in the mid to late game, because 100 Thieves has, even in this game, been a little sloppy sometimes with their engages. But the other team, 100 Thieves, has much better actual 5v5 champions that have better frontline, better engage tools, better combo options. There's more little synergies in their kits, like the Rel Ori or the Ori Hecarim, and like all these little things that all work so well together. This is 2 games in a row now where you have given the scaling and 5v5 advantage to 100 Thieves on Dignitas' side. I'd love to see Dig change that mentality. Game 1, I liked the idea of the draft. Honestly, I did, about bot lane and mid lane control and stacking dragons, this kind of stuff. they messed that part up, and I did not like the second game's adaptation from that. So I'd love to see them go hard into the pick some power picks, pick some champions that are going to be good throughout the entire game.
Yeah, and here's the thing: like 36 minutes, that team fight, you're for sure going to be losing that because of like you do get outscaled. You already have like a 6K gold deficit at that point. So at the end of the day, like your composition is once again on same theme with the last comp, where you're kiting back and you have to have a lead early, or you have to be able to consistently stack on Dragon. That didn't happen, and now they have to play a team fight comp. I would agree with that. That's easier to execute. Because even though I like the comp, it's just not being executed well. That's just the reality.
Well, you can see there, bottom of the screens, Dignitas is for the first time electing to go over to the blue side. So, Mark, I do want to return to you since you were so critical of the draft. Do you feel this is indicative of exactly what you were criticizing, that they have realized they maybe need just some more priority for picks in the draft as opposed to countering straight up and down the line?
Yeah, I think it's also just sometimes good to throw the enemy off their game plan a little bit. You know, the Kalista adaptation as the third ban was huge in game 2. And this time, you know, you could on red side theoretically go Trist and Rel 1-2 or Kai'Sa Rel 1-2 and take some of those away. But, you know, realistically, I think it's better to get completely onto a new side and see how the draft shakes out from there and change your priority list up a little bit so that as the bans come through, both teams are having to adapt on the fly. I think that's much better. You could theoretically do it on either side is what I'm saying, but I do like going to blue side as well.
I want to see a priority on the Hecarim on the side of Dignitas. This champion is really powerful right now, does not get kited as easily as picks like the Udyr right now. So the fact that yesterday's series, G2 couldn't deal with Hecarim tells me you gotta be playing this champion or banning it or having a different answer than picking a non-team fighting champion like Udyr and then trying to team fight against him. So this pick, I think, has to surge to the top for this next draft.
Final thoughts, Raz?
Yeah, we could see. You could see that. You can combine it with an Orianna. That's true. Just like what we saw from 100 Thieves this game. We can also just see the Udyr priority that's been getting an early game lead for Dardoch, and then just instead going for like an Alistar pick with Kai'Sa, just for stronger team fighting. We can probably see that, and I think that's probably the case.
Well, Dignitas, they got to get it done here if they want to start that reverse sweep. But a reminder that MasterCard is rewarding fans throughout 2021 spring. Just use your MasterCard to make any purchase from the Incline store and save your card on file to be entered for a chance to win a $250 prepaid MasterCard, Riot Points, and a mystery figure merchandise pack. You'll have until April 4th to enter, which means you've got one last week, so get your entries in. Until then, we are at match point. We'll see if 100 Thieves can clutch out another win and close out our series right after this.
But it's not going to be enough. 16-3, the Bud Light Ace. Evil Geniuses